Oh boy. All right, just came home from being in, where was I? We were in Edinburgh and Lisbon, and just got home last night and had this big heavy box waiting for me. And seeing that it's from HarperCollins, I have an idea of what this is because I have a new book coming out, in 5 days, October 4th. So this should be the final edition of Across the Sand, which I have not seen. I've only seen the arcs. And it has been many years since I have seen a new book ready for store shelves. So I'm excited. It feels like my first time all over again. Yep, Across the Sand. Ooh, hardbacks, baby. Check that out. Wow, there's a bunch of these in here. I have books to give away. Orange and black. These colors look sexy together. It's like too bright. I wonder if you can see how good this looks. There we go. What a beauty, man. Oh, there's a typo. Just kidding. I didn't find it that quickly, but I'm sure they're there. Ah, wow. The font size is perfect for these old eyes. Man, actually, it's been so long since I finished this draft or done any edits. I could probably read this right now and be super surprised by what happens. Got nice section parts and some Ben Adams art in here for you. Man, the quality of this, you can just tell with the paper and everything. It spared no expense. I don't want to spoil everything for you, but man, this thing is beautiful. You know, it's not often that I go gaga over one of my books and highly recommend it, but you're going to love this. I am super happy with how this came out. I cannot believe how many they sent. What did I get? Like 20 copies of this? Wow. Guys, there's a huge stack of. I'm making a sandcastle. I wish you could see it. It's enormous. Okay, I might have to limit this to the US, but I will give away 5 copies of this and sign them. And not sure how I will pick those people. I will try to figure that out. I'll create like some kind of Goodreads raffle thingy. There's a mountain of these books. Cannot wait to see this in your feed, in your hands, on store shelves. What went into this? Man, this is the first book I've ever written where I had a contract before I wrote it. Normally I write and then try to figure out if I'm going to self-publish it or talk to publishers about bringing it out. But my agent, Kristen Nelson, like Sand is one of her favorite books that I've ever written. But probably for the same reason that I love it. It's just so powerfully about family, and so just the characters are incredibly memorable. And the ending, if anyone's read Sand, they know that ending is a gut punch. And you can see it wraps up nicely, but like everyone wants to know what happens next. It's been sitting like that for 7 years. And I've had so many people ask, when am I going to write the sequel to Sand? And it was soon after publishing it that I started getting on Wayfinder and went sailing, and have not written a new novel since then. And Kristen was just chatting with my editor, who was my editor at Hoot Mifflin Harcourt, which has since been purchased or acquired by HarperCollins. And they were like, we would love to do a sequel to Sand. And Kristen had not talked to me at all about this in a long time. And she was like, well, what would it take to get him to write a sequel? And so I had no idea these conversations were taking place. Next thing I know, Kristen is like, hey, here's the offer to write a sequel to Sand. And it was kind of, I wouldn't say kind of, it was in that ballpark of like, not being an offer too good to refuse. So I was like, okay, I've always wanted to write the next book. Now's the time to do it. And I spent 6 months on the first draft, finding the story. And once I did, and once I realized that it was going to be a cathartic work dealing with my relationship with my dad, which is very complicated and deep, the book just started writing itself, and it was super emotional. Got to the point where I couldn't even be here to finish the book. I ended up going to stay with my mom in North Carolina and spent 2 weeks just basically working all day on the book while she was at work, and hanging out with her in the afternoons and evenings, and became a super emotional experience. I think you'll see that when you read it. A lot of myself went into this book, and once again, it has, I think, one of the best endings I've ever written in a novel. Every time I've read it, whether I'm doing just a revision or when I was working on the draft, I would just break down and cry, which happened to me at the end of the first book as well. So they have that in common. And I'm currently working on the third one. So this is just living in this world right now, and can't wait to finish the trilogy up next year. But till then, really hope you enjoy this. It's, I think, a great standalone book, but if you haven't read Sand, pick that up. If you haven't read in a while, breeze through it. I think it's one of my best works, and this is a very worthy follow-up. And now I'm holding it, so that's amazing. I'll be doing a couple of events in New York next week. I'll be at New York Comic Con on a panel and doing a signing for people who can't get into the con. Come to P&T Knitwear down in Soho. I'll be doing a talk there and signing some books. Let me tell you those dates. The Comic Con event is on the 8th, and the P&T Knitwear book event's on the 9th. And I will try to include in the comments. I'll do an edit on this and include in the comments the exact time. But come out and see me. I don't do many events anymore. So this this knitwear thing, again, something that if it wasn't for my publisher and agent, I wouldn't even have thought to do this stuff. But they reached out and wanted to do it. So kind of coming out of my hidey hole to do a live event for the first time in many a year. So if you're in New York or know someone in New York, have them come by and snag you a copy signed, or come and hang out. We'll just be chatting, having a good time like the old times. All right. Love you guys. Thanks for making all this possible. Really appreciate it. Thanks for all your support. Take care.